Since 1944, the US dollar has served as the world's primary reserve currency. But could that status be in jeopardy after all these years? Welcome to Economics Made Simple. Please remember to like this video and click that subscribe button to make sure you don't miss any future episodes. For nearly 70 years, international exchange and global economic order has been built largely on the US dollar. But some nations now want to move away from the dollar as their reserve currency. To help us learn more, we've brought in a special guest.
Thanks for having me back. Let's get into it. The fundamental purpose of a dominant reserve currency is to provide nations with a reliable, efficient way to complete international transactions, including those for essential commodities like oil. The US dollar has served as the world's primary reserve currency since the end of World War II. At a 1944 conference in Bretton Woods, New Hampshire, representatives of 44 countries assembled to discuss how the international economic order might best proceed going forward. It was there that a system of exchange rates was developed, through which each country pegged the value of its currency to the dollar. At the time, the dollar was viewed as the best option for a reserve currency based on a variety of factors. Among them was the excellent post-war condition of America's economy, the stability of its currency, and the fact that the US was home to the world's largest gold reserves and remained on the gold standard. Although the dollar's convertibility to gold ended in 1971 under President Nixon, the accumulated strength and influence of the US and its currency has helped to preserve the dollar's status as primary reserve currency.
Well, that sounds like a system that's been working just fine. So why are some nations moving away from the dollar?
Although on the surface level the system seems to be working fine, the principal driver behind the so-called De-Dollarization movement is how America can leverage the dollar to pursue its geopolitical interests. All dollar transactions, regardless of where they occur, require access to the US payments and financial system. When the US sanctions other countries, one of the principal ways those sanctions are enforced is by restricting that access. These enforcement mechanisms help to perpetuate the unrivaled dominance of America and its currency. But when nations settle their cross-border transactions for goods and services in other currencies, doing so can make it more difficult for the US to use the dollar as a foreign policy tool. For some nations, lowering their exposure to America's substantial global influence is important enough to actively seek alternatives to the dollar.
Are there any nations especially interested in trying to get out from underneath the dollar?
Unsurprisingly, US rivals such as Russia, China, and Iran are major proponents of de-dollarization. In fact, China has been working diligently for years to advance its official currency, the yuan, as a player on the global reserve currency stage. Even long-standing US allies, including France, have started taking steps to move away from the dollar.
Well, that makes sense, but it makes me wonder, what would be the consequences if the dollar was to lose its status as the world's primary reserve currency?
Well, to put it bluntly, experts say the implications could be significant and far-reaching and include a substantial increase in dollar weakness and instability, volatility in commodities markets, and even reorganization of the entire global economic and geopolitical orders.
Is this something that could really happen?
That's a great question. In actuality, there are few analysts that think the dollar is at risk of losing its standing as the primary global reserve currency in the near term for a variety of reasons. Among them are the historical stability of the dollar, the size of the US economy, America's substantial geopolitical stature, and the size and scope of the US Treasury market, which underpins the global financial system. That said, we've already seen some erosion in the dollar's reserve currency standing. In 1999, the greenback represented more than 70% of global foreign exchange reserves. As of the fourth quarter of 2022, that percentage had declined to 58%. This trend is expected to continue as more nations looking to reduce their exposure to the geopolitical implications of dollar dominance continue to diversify their reserve holdings. As for whether the trend ultimately means the dollar is one day no longer the world's primary reserve currency, well, that remains to be seen.
Another fascinating and timely topic. Thanks so much for explaining all of this to us.
Of course, I'd be happy to come back again anytime.
Well, that's it for today's lesson. If you enjoyed this video, please don't hesitate to hit that subscribe button and watch for more Economics Made Simple.